Arnold Classic is around the corner and RxMuscle has you covered with previews and analysis from the top minds in bodybuilding and interviews with the top competitors and personalities in the sport. It's RxMuscle's Iron Road to the Arnold, sponsored by SciTech Nutrition, only on RxMuscle.com.
Welcome back to Live with RxMuscle's Iron Road to the Arnold Classic. Brought to you by SciTech Nutrition. Visit SciTechNutrition.com. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today's guest is none other than the man who invented the customized weight belt. That's right. He's also the owner of American Nutrition Centers in Boston, Mass. The man I'm talking about is Steve Cardillo. Welcome.
Dave, thanks for having me on the show. I love it.
30 years, Steve, you've been doing this. 30 years you've been making customized weight belts. How the heck did you get into that business? What made you come up with that concept?
Well, back in '86, I competed in powerlifting, won the drug-free nationals, and I wanted to make a belt that was more comfortable, keeping away from pinching the ribs and the hips when you went down for the deadlift especially. So I came up with an idea of making a contour in it, approached the number one leather manufacturer in the world to make it for me, and here we are 30 years later, number one and still doing it.
How the heck did you know that people would spend that kind of money on a weight belt? I mean, because your belts are not the cheapest belts, but they're the best-selling belts, and they're certainly the best quality belts. Most people are, cheaping nowadays, but for 30 years you've been selling these belts, and you've sold them to regular gym rats and super celebrities.
Yes. Well, my idea was, that if you train, the most personal piece that you wear in any of the sports, if you train with a belt, is your weight belt. So I made it last. I have a good and a bad. They last your lifetime. So once you buy it, it's really not that expensive when you break it down to a last your lifetime. You spend $150 for a pair of sneakers that last, 6 months a year. You buy a weight belt, lasts you forever, and it supports you and it protects you. I wouldn't skimp on anything. That's the first thing I go for.
Your belts are all leather?
Yeah, all leather. Yeah, I used to make nylon belts for Reebok and Budweiser, but I went back strictly leather.
Why is leather the best belt for a weightlifter?
It breaks in like a baseball glove, a pair of shoes. It contours your body. It feels like it belongs part of you. A nylon belt is just 2-inch strap, goes around, makes you feel like you're getting support. But in actuality, if you're rolling some heavy weight, you don't want a nylon belt giving you support.
Now, do you remember what the first customized weight belt you did was? Whose was the first belt ever?
The first probably significant person, I started out with the wrestlers, probably I go back to Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage.
Wow. Now, did they contact you or did you contact them?
Well, way back then, they used to train at a gym that I trained at. So the managers would call me and say, "Hey, the guys want you to come down. They want to get sized up." So, I'd get in the car, fly down, meet all the guys, and, basically, take care of them. And all the years, God bless Randy, Hulk Hogan, they all stayed loyal, and they're just great people. And that's how it started from wrestlers. Paul DeMeo was a huge one. He was the first bodybuilder that came on board with me and supported me and was loyal to the end. So as a bodybuilder, probably DeMeo and Matarazzo, since they were close to home. But on the grand scale of it at that time was Hulk Hogan and Randy.
So what'd you embroider on Hulk Hogan's belt?
Hulkster.
There it is. Johnny just put a picture of it up there. And what about Randy Savage? What did it say on his belt?
Macho Man.
Obviously, okay. And what about was Paul DeMayo's? Was his Quadzilla?
Well, I started with just the Mayo, and then I went to the Quadzilla.
And what about Matarazzo's belt?
This is the original Hulk belt.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You should auction that off like on eBay. Give it to charity.
They sell a lot of them down at his beach shop.
Oh, really? They still sell those belts?
Yeah, I make the exact same belt that he wore, and then he autographs them. I might be giving one away at the Arnold Classic.
Now, how could you win one of those at the Arnold Classic?
Well, I'm doing a scavenger hunt. There's 9 companies involved, and one of them, Meathead Nation, my company, a few of the big boys. And what happens is you collect all 9 keychains. I'll be posting times where to go get them at the different booths. You run around, you collect the keychains. I'll be having Cardillo API at my booth. Get the keychains. Saturday night you come by. If you get all 9 of them, the first prize will randomly be picked if you get 9 for the Arnold Schwarzenegger autograph belt.
Wow.
Which I just happen to have that one too. That will be given away, autographed by him. And then from there on, I'll be having 4 or 5 other people like Hulk Hogan, Jose, some of the bigger guys, and I'll be giving those belts away 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th prize. It's going to be fun.
So you're going to put 9 keychains at 9 different booths scattered throughout the Arnold Expo, and you're going to tell people to go see who can get these keychains first. It's going to be a nutcase. People got to be crazy. That the expo is so packed with people.
Yes.
Can you imagine a bunch of lunatics running through there trying to get to booths to get these keychains first?
It's going to make it fun. There's like 40,000 going out. And honestly, every time I go, everyone loves my belts, but for some reason they want to know if I have the keychains.
Right.
So I said this time around, I never brought enough, obviously, through one company. I said, let's disperse it through some loyal people that supported me over the years. Let's have some fun with it, and then I'll give some, like $5,000 in prizes away.
How many belts do you figure you've sold over the years?
Oh, my God. Oh, thousands. Hundreds of thousands. When I had the Reebok contract in '92, it was crazy. I was in all the major retail stores, and it got crazy. But now I kind of brought it all back to everything's handmade one at a time. So I just brought it back to I want to keep my little niche of people that are serious about weight training, serious about supporting their back. And what I'm doing now is, honestly, you mentioned about the value and the cost. I'm going to be implementing a buyback program. I call it the Strap Up program. So if you have an old nylon belt, leather belt, I don't care what belt you have. You purchase one of my new belts, I'll give you X number of dollars, buy that piece of junk back from you so you can finally get a nice belt, and then so you'll have a chance to upgrade. So I'll give you basically the value what you paid for your belt to upgrade towards one of my belts.
Wow, that's a great deal. What are you going to do with all these old belts people are going to send you?
Well, I'd like to give them to a charity, but then it'd be injustice because these people, I don't want anyone to get hurt with these other belts. So I'll probably have a big bonfire and do a little social media with it.
Now, let's go back to '92 when you and Reebok teamed up and you made this Reebok pump belt.
Yes.
I remember it vaguely. That ought to be a huge contract for you, I would assume. What happened with that?
It was. I mean, I was only 5 years into the business, and it was an honor because they approached me. They wanted me to kind of consult them in our industry. At that time, I already made Michael Jordan the belt. I already made a lot of significant people in the industry belts. So they approached me, and from that point on, I consulted. We had a great relationship. It was another thing come to loyalty. We started off with just a handshake, and believe it or not, I still a friend of mine today, John Friscotti, who now is the president of Hasbro. It was all on a handshake for like 3 years till we finally put the pump technology, and we had to, go through the patenting and everything, and then it became a written contract. But they were straight up with me all the way, and it was just a great thing. And that's where I learned not only I manufacture, I buy, I sell. I called on all the big box, Big Five, Dick's, Galleons, everybody. So I was basically the salesman. So I learned what all these people were asking from me. So when I finally had the opportunity to have a store, I run my business like Dick's, Big Five, Walmart. I don't run it like a little store. That's what makes American Nutrition the success that it has.
And we're going to talk about that in a second because that's a big part of your business. let's talk about the celebrity. I'm enamored by the whole celebrity angle of this thing. When a guy like Michael Jordan wants a belt from you, do you just give it to him, or does he actually buy it from you?
No, at the very beginning phase of it, I gave a lot of belt. I mean, when Michael Jordan calls, the strength coach called me on the belt. So when I get the call that Michael Jordan's interested in a belt, I'm not stupid. He gets millions of dollars to wear something. He wants a belt. It was a gift. So I made him whatever he wanted at that time.
What did he want on the belt? Do you remember?
It was the Bulls logo in his name and his number on the end.
That's pretty cool.
That was the biggest. That was out of anybody. That was when I saw the belt in rare air, because I went through the strength coach with him. Most of them I go direct with the athlete themselves, but this particular one, the strength coach got to me, and when I saw it in rare air, I knew I had something.
What did Lou Ferrigno want on his belt? Hulk?
Yeah, he wanted. I made him a bunch of belts for his kid and for him, his wife. But yeah, we started with Lou Ferrigno. I made him a Reebok belt with the pump with Lou Ferrigno, but now it's just strictly a Hulk.
It's Hulk, and is it a green belt like?
Yeah, green belt. I made him black belts. I made him a lot of belts.
Did he pay you for the belts?
No, he's another one where I don't mind giving it to him. He's pretty. He appreciates. So anyone that appreciates, anyone that knows me, if you appreciate something, and all it is about appreciation, I have no problem helping you.
Gotcha. What'd you put on Barry Bonds' belt you made for him?
Big B, I think.
Oh, that's what he wanted?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yep.
What about Corey Everson's belt?
Just Corey.
Okay. Now you've done belts for pretty much every Mr. and Miss Olympia, at least back in the 90s and early 2000s. What was the most creative name that you've ever put on a belt?
Every Miss Olympia, Mr. Olympia, Bikini Olympia, fitness, every Arnold winner. It's it blows my mind. I just look back. Every single one has significance. Wears one of my belts, and it's pretty nice.
What's the craziest thing you ever wrote on a belt or put on a belt? Do you remember?
Probably a few things with the swears on it, but I don't really do that anymore.
Right. What if someone comes to you? Do you ever get like someone who said, "This is what I want on the belt," and you're like, "You sure?" And then afterwards you say, "Okay," and you're laughing your ass off. It's like the funniest thing. Like, does anyone have any funny nicknames or anything you ever put on a belt that was just lunaticish?
Nah, not really. It's just the people want to put like the scripture on the back of a belt. And I try to explain to them, you only have 3 inches in height by 12 inches in length. You really can't put a book on the back of you. They want to put their life story on the back of a belt.
Sure.
So, I try to explain, but that's probably the funniest when you get like someone who wants 55 lines on the back of a belt.
Right. What did the Rock put the Rock on his belt?
The Rock, this is one of them, but he's that's the Rock's belt.
What does that say?
It says $7. His whole story is, how he started his business and when he has $7. So he has some pretty cool logos that he had done. So I was the first one to actually put his new logo on an actual physical product. I was proud. He got a hold of me, and I was the first one he called to do it, which was very nice. Very loyal.
Do you even have any competition in this venue? I don't see anyone else doing customized belts out there.
There might be some people out there, but some of it looks like costume stuff. It's just a belt is a belt, we could say, but it comes down to like a watch. A watch tells time, but do you want a Timex? Do you want a Rolex? Right. The belt is guaranteed for life. It lasts forever. It looks good. I make it for everybody. You can have a Fiat, you can have a car, you can have a Hugo, or you can have a Lamborghini. It's what you want to have.
It's true. What was the nicest car you've ever driven?
My friend Sean Louiso has a Lamborghini. Pretty wild.
That's pretty cool. All right, let's talk a little bit about bodybuilders from Massachusetts, because you were entrenched in that whole industry back in the day. Like with the DeMeos and the Matarazzos and Jay Cutler. Who in your estimation was the greatest bodybuilder to come out of Massachusetts?
I would say honestly, Paul DeMeo. I just have a kind of a soft spot for him because how everything went down for him. Mike was definitely gifted, but it was always Mike and Paul. But I think if Paul went the distance, he would have had the greatest potential. He had the greatest potential.
What do you think happened to Paul DeMeo? I mean, you knew him personally. Could you have predicted that he was going to go down that slippery slope, with the drugs and wind up, kind of short-tailing his life, so to speak?
Honestly, the whole thing that I feel happened with Paul, it's sad because when he was like, I trained, with him at the gym when he was like 17, 18 years old, and he was way, way ahead of his time. So you had all these jealous people hating on him, and he would be happy as anything coming into the gym, and you'd have all these people hating on him. I don't think he really understood. He'd come out, his car would be scratched. He never did anything to people,
Wow.
But the hatred towards him, because he was so good at such a young age, turned him into the person he became. He became like bitter. So people would say, "Wow, did you see Paul DeMeo? He's off the whatever." I'd say, something. You wish you could be as big as Paul is on everything you're on. They just don't have a concept. He was gifted, and he was a great person, and he really people just ruined him. So he couldn't understand this, and he never got to understand this. So after that point, when he started doing things he was doing, I'm so totally different. I supported him, but we weren't. At the end, it was just sad. Sad. And people did it. He didn't do it. He was a great, great person, but people made him miserable.
It's an interesting concept, an interesting perspective, because I never really knew that. I didn't really get it. You're right. He was so gifted at such a young age. Obviously, Matarazzo coming out of there as well, no longer with us. Mike Quinn, another very gifted Massachusetts bodybuilder, also kind of, wasn't the most, I guess you could say, sound of mind. But when we talk about Jay Cutler, is there a guy in Massachusetts, a Massachusetts bodybuilder, maybe a bodybuilder in the world that has a tougher mindset than Jay Cutler?
No, Jay. Leave. I didn't really leave. I don't want to leave him out. Obviously, you have to say he's the best from around here. He's from Worcester, very, very close. But I never had the opportunity to be as close as I was with him as I was with Paul and Mike. I mean, we were literally trained together, and it was something amazing to watch. Where Jay was from a distance. Still great, obviously unbelievable, bodybuilder. So I would say he has the mindset. He always had the reputation of, even at a young age, being mentored in business. So he took bodybuilding at that time very intelligently in utilizing what he had and marketed himself. And I think he's done a great thing with what he's done with his life. But that was I think he had great tutelage at a younger age from a good mentor at the time, I would say.
Now let's talk about American Nutrition Center, because that is if anyone's ever been there, they'll know what I'm talking about. But if you haven't, it's like in one of the busiest intersections you'll ever see, and it's a tiny store packed to the hilt. There's no organization. It's just stacked to the ceiling with product, and people just come in for 2 seconds, they buy what they want, and they run out. And this goes on all day long, like nonstop. I don't think there's ever a dull moment in that store. How did you conceptualize that store, and why'd you pick that location?
Well, I started with my nephew. I kind of mentored since his father passed away. I took over when he was young. I mentored him. He came on all my business trips. He learned at a very young age. So by the time he went to school, he was 3-time teenage national champion. By the time he got out of black belt, he didn't do that well in school because he had dyslexia. So I said, "Hey, Pete, let's open up a store. It's your baby, to you to run. I know you have the drive, the dedication to make this successful. I will back you. I'll support you. I'll do whatever it takes to help you." 20 years later, it's the #1 retail store in the country. This kid he started making $100 a week for a year, worked his way up, worked 7 days a week. Now he's in there 6 days a week, never leaves the store. To be successful, you have to eat, sleep, and breathe your business. So that's what makes that store successful. You get all, for example, your product Species does extremely well there. I use the macadamia oil. I love it. It's just, you support us, we support you. There are brands that get it. I like exclusivity, because when I went into retail, when I sold, these people wanted special color belts, special makeup shoes.
Right.
So I ask, the people, for example, like when I'm doing Cardillo weight belts, I'm going to start opening up distributorship. So I don't sell to any stores except for my stores that have my belt, but I'm going to open up one per state over time. Like there's a new store open in Florida, Pound Nutrition. I'm going to give them the dealership. He understands the value of having exclusivity. API is another brand in my store. They give me exclusivity. anyone that kind of gives me exclusivity, then I don't know what to do. Muscleicious Foods, another one. People that understand the concept of my business model, I can do the same thing for them. I don't sell any stuff online. I don't ruin anybody's brand. I don't want my brand ruined. I treat customers that I buy from the same way I want to be treated. So I treat people the way I want to be treated. I don't want to see my belt online. You don't want to see your stuff online. So I respect you, respect me, and I can sell a lot of volume for you.
Now, Steve, you've been in the business for 20 years with American Nutrition Center, and you've seen obviously I'm sure you've seen the industry evolve over those 20 years from a industry that had very few brands when Metrex was around and Champion Nutrition and Weider to now, there's 400 brands. I don't know. Every 2 days another brand comes out. Does it bother you a little bit when you see the industry watered down so much and people just trying to put stuff out because they think they're going to make money? They don't know anything about nutritional supplements. They just think, oh, I got to have my own line. Does that bother you? And how do you pick what companies to sell at your store? Because you obviously can't carry them all.
Right. Well, at this point here in the Everett store, there's my loyalty to each brand is I can't say, okay, just because you give me a little better price or I'm loyal to that brand. So if they don't make a mistake, there's no category for pre-workout. My nephew and myself say there's no category. I don't want to mislead anybody on anything. So that store is kind of saturated. Now you have saturated in the sense of you can't really get into my store. There's too many relationships that I don't want to sever because they've been loyal. I've been with Metrex since '92, since they started. I got Paul DeMayo the first contract. These people are extremely loyal to me. So I can't just someone gives me a better deal. It's bigger than that. The whole key to the success is being loyal to the people that help you. You can't just jump around. You have to be loyal. So Shrewsbury is a store, they come in and see Sean and, he just, deflects it back to us. If A&C Everett is carrying it, then he's opposed to he'll take it in. Same thing with my new store in Avon. Everyone has to kind of follow the business model that my nephew set and worked for. And by that, so it's really difficult. And that answer your question, yeah, it's a joke. I mean, people think now with social media, I'm going to throw up a brand on social media and think it's going to sell. Dave, you know what it takes. It's years. It's grassroots. It's television. It's social media. It's print ads. It's everything. You just can't throw a brand on Instagram and think it's going to be a brand. It's a joke.
But what it does, it takes away business from people because even though they're not going to, we know the company won't make it. For 6 months, they're going to take away business from legitimate owners that are really putting their heart and soul into this. And it's kind of watering down the industry. I just see it. I see a lot of companies that are top-level companies that are telling me, we're hurting because there's too many freaking companies out there and everyone thinks they're going to sell the greatest thing. And what happens invariably is no one wants their product, like you said, so they just give it away. And when you give something away, people will take anything for nothing. You know that.
Yeah. Exactly. And it looks good, but like you said, the last 6 months, a year, guy opens it on a credit card. It's a joke. You're 1,000% right. You need the people that have been in the industry, have built the brand, built relationships, hardworking people. Those are the ones you're going to support.
Steve, the fans want to know, I'm getting a question, who's the greatest Mr. Olympia in your estimation?
You got to kind of go with, obviously Arnold.
You think Arnold? Okay.
Yeah.
What about the greatest Miss Olympia in bodybuilding when they had bodybuilding back then?
I would probably say Linda Murray.
Okay, there you go. That's Steve Cardillo's opinion. Now, Steve, you got this. We were watching the video before, Johnny and I think at first it doesn't sound like much, but when we watched the video, we were just blown away by this. It's called the 300 workout. Is that right? The 300.
It's called the 300 warm-up.
Warm-up, right. It's this.
That guy can train after he does that.
We're putting it up on the screen now so people can watch it. It's 8. He can do it in 8 minutes. It's 300 reps.
It's 42 seconds. It's funny you should talk about that because what I'm doing is that guy's 45 years old. If anybody, I'm putting a contest. If anybody can beat that time, you can critique you can critique it all you want, anything you want. Do it the way he does it. If you can beat 742, there's $10,000 cash out there plus a contract with my company.
Wow, that's incredible. I know guys that will try this, Steve. You sure you want to put that out there on our TV show live?
You go for it, brother. If you can do 50 deadlifts and 50 the box squats in like under 3 minutes, if you can't do it in that time, don't even bother.
I'm watching the
quarter windshield wipers. He's 45 years old. He's the most physically fit freak I've ever met ever, and I've been doing this 30 years plus. I've been around it for 40. You can't touch Doug Clark, the fitness freak. Go for it.
Is that what he calls himself, the fitness freak?
He's Mr. American Nutritionist. That's a fitness freak. Loyal to the bone. Loyal to me to the end. All people, these people come to me, companies come to me. I represent a lot of athletes, not for any money, but companies come to me, hey, what do you think of this guy? What do you think of that guy? Because I deal with everybody. So I know them as a person. I know these people as a person to me, so I give the people a straight up. So this guy, everyone comes to me for my athletes. So these people are loyal to me. If I think it's the right move, I go for it.
Now, did you watch him do this live?
He does this. When we taped that, there was only 3 people. There's not even an audience for him.
No,
I took him down to Rob and Dana's at the Warhouse gym.
Right.
They couldn't believe it. It's crazy to watch. He does it by himself every Monday.
He does it every week? He does that?
Proud, forget about it.
Oh, my God.
He makes it look so easy.
You know what? I'm watching him do the jumps from the floor to the bench. That's where I would kill myself, probably.
Yeah, that's where he gets gassed.
Yeah, but because he just did all those deadlifts and push-ups and pull-ups, he's got to be shot, and then he's got to jump up on this bench, and it's not a platform. It's a very uneven bench. You could fall and break your ankle.
And there's no break in his workout. He goes boom, boom, boom. There's no stop. You blow your mind. I would like to see somebody do the 300, do one segment each day. Add it all together, and you're still going to have trouble beating him.
You're probably right, but I am sure there's people out there that are going to say, I could beat this guy. Steve Cardillo is putting up $10,000 cash plus a contract with Cardillo if you can beat the fitness freak. So, guys, watch this video. It's on YouTube. What is it? It's called the 300 warm-up.
Yeah, on Cardillo Weight Belt's YouTube channel.
Right. So you guys watch that video. See all the reps. I think he does 25 pull-ups. He does 50 push-ups. Then he does 50 deadlifts, and then and there is weight on the bar. It's not like it's really light or anything. And some of the crazy abdominal stuff he does is nutty too, with those butterflies on the floor.
He's amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Well, I'm glad that you put that out there because at this point, I like to see strength challenges out there so that people can work towards and possibly beat. And the guy's 45, so no one can say age has got anything to do with it because if anything, he's got a disadvantage.
I don't care what the weight is. You could be 120 pounds, 20 years old, 140, any weight, any height, any age, anything. I'm almost willing to some point to put 2 people against 1. I want to handicap him. I might put the trainer mask on him and try to really handicap him. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, maybe have like one person do each event against him, so he does everything and they right.
Yep.
I'll hold it.
But let's first go with anyone can beat him 742 single-handedly.
Sounds good. Steve, where do you see yourself in 5 years from now? What would you like to do? What's your goals? Because I know you're really big on goal setting and being tenacious to those goals and never giving up. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I just honestly, I'm not motivated by money as much. I like helping people, and there are a lot of people that have helped me become successful. I do not forget about those people. I want to help everyone that's helped me some way or another through social media. My spokesmodel, my trans, she's been with me for 10 years. This is her 10-year anniversary. She's just amazing. She's done a lot for me. A lot of people ask, hey, how do I get her to rep my company, so on and so forth. She's just amazing what she's done for me. And how good she is, was smart, intelligent, good looking. So I just want to help each person on my team, Doug, Sean with his new store, Corey and Avon, help them become successful. And with all the people, my nephew, making him more successful, we plan on franchising the stores and open up distribution and dealerships for the American Nutrition Centers. But that's a whole other topic. That's in a whole other plan. But just helping all the people help me because I'm pretty happy.
Do you find that, you have no time in the day to do anything? Because I'm so busy, Steve, I don't even know if I could take on another business at this point. Do you feel like, oh my God, if I open up, start franchising, I got to handle that and I got to manage that? Does it get overwhelming?
Yes, extremely. I mean, I've developed a new machine called a torture track. I have the water bucket thing I'm working on. There's so many things, but the problem is any successful person will say, Steve, you got to stay focused. But it's almost like a domino effect. Each one of my things that I do affects the other one. So there's no sense, if I pull one of the dominoes out, then I'm going to lose the momentum of everything I'm trying to build here. So it's, again, just getting people that believe in me, I believe in them, and I help them with their projects, and my projects will just come along with it. But again, I'm motivated by helping more of the people that help me. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm very healthy. You can go look at the guys on the Shark Tank. They could be as rich as they want. They can't come close to what I have in regards to health and fitness. I'll eat them alive. I don't need that money.
Speaking of eating, do you eat a healthy diet still?
Yeah, I watch what I kind of balance it off. If I eat bad today, I make sure I diet tomorrow. I'm not competing in bodybuilding, but or anything like that. I just want to, to me, maintaining what I have is making progress, making gains. So if I can hold back the clock, I feel successful. I can do, what I could do years and years ago. I feel great, and hopefully I keep my health. But I train every single day, and like you said, you're totally focused in on your business. It's 24/7. You wake up, you got to surround yourself with people that motivate you, and they want to hear your stories, and you hear them back, and you just go back and forth, and that's how we do it.
Steve, do you have any other hobbies, or is bodybuilding and working out your hobby essentially?
I mean, I started out at hockey, made the goals, so no, really everything. The great thing about it is I don't work at all because obviously you're in the gym, you're promoting, I deal with so many great athletes and great people. I never work. So when I say I work 24/7, I'm really enjoying my life 24/7. So that's kind of what I'm doing. That's what the whole franchising thing is about. Helping my nephew so he can enjoy it. He's paying his dues, and it's time for him to. When he wants to do the franchising, then we'll open the floodgates up. But that's kind of where I have to delegate that business to him if he really wants it.
Yeah, but you said it yourself. As soon as you leave your own business and you start hiring people, the business goes into the toilet because people are there because of your energy level, your passion, so to speak.
No, you have to be owned. You have to own your own business to be successful. You can't say, here, run my store. You can't say, here, do my social media. You have to eventually delegate people, which I do. But again, I have loyal people. Jose Raymond, Sean Louiso, Doug Clark, Mike Tran, my nephew. I have 2 social media people, McNasty and Tina. These people stay with me forever. They're loyal to me. They know that I'm looking when the big move comes, that they're all going to be part of it. These are all great people. They stay with me forever. Jose, like you had just had Jose on, the guy is loyal to the bone. You won't catch him. I try to cold catch him without my belt on or something. Never happens. My spokesmodel, I'll be walking through the gym sometime and she has either my brand or the brand I connected her with on. It's not like posed. These people really believe. I tell Doug, hey, I want you to go with this company. It's better opportunity for you. He goes. This is just how I do it.
I need a couple of your loyal guys working for me, man. You got a good group. What would you say is the secret to your success if someone asked you that? Like if everyone looked at it and said, look, 30 years you've been doing this, you're a super success. Obviously you made mistakes. You found out the right way to do things. Why are you a success, Steve?
Well, I like to under-promise and over-deliver. But the most important thing really is surrounding yourself with people that have the same drive and passion. It's not easy to find. You don't have to be smart. You don't have to be anything special. If you have all those attributes, that's a great thing. But the bottom line is you have to work hard 24/7. You got to work hard all the time. I see these in people. I see this, in people, and they just, it works. So the loyalty, the drive, and staying true to your word. Don't sell someone out because maybe you think a better deal comes along. That's not always the case because I'm still here 30 years, and the people that jump ship, go back and forth, these people are all gone. They did it the wrong way.
True. Final question. Will you have you mentioned you'll be at the Arnold Classic. Where can people find you if they want to come by, they want to talk to you about a belt or anything else involved in your business? Where can
I'll be at booth 629. I'll be in and out a lot of things. Like I said, this is my 30th anniversary. This is I'm not even selling belts there. I'm just basically doing the scavenger hunt. My spokesmodel, Maj, she'll be there for API and myself, so she'll be giving out the keychains. Strength Energy Extreme will be in my booth. She will be giving out the keychains for sex. You have Rich is coming by my booth to give out his keychains, Rich Gaspari. You'll have Rude Meathead Nation. They'll be at my booth. Rude Muscle, he'll be giving them out. So it's going to be a lot of giving keychains from my booth. And then the other companies is Metabolic, Body Fortress, Promera Sports. They'll be giving out at their booth. So like I said, it'll be a big, that's basically, it's just going to be a fun social media time for me. It's my 30th anniversary. A lot of people, are excited about it. I'm excited about it. So, and I'll be giving away this Arnold Belt. That's kind of, where it's going to be.
Yeah, the Arnold Belt would be great. And Arnold's going to sign that belt, correct?
It's already signed.
Oh, wow. All right, cool.
Yeah, ready to go.
Now, when you get a belt signed by Arnold, do you get to meet him or when he signs it, or
does... Yeah, luckily, every year is, I've been there from the very beginning. So even way back when we used to get the picture with him, I'm still trying to find that. But he always seems to make it by my booth at some point. There's always a belt waiting for him. Just a great person. I have a 10 by 10. I don't need a big show there, but he always makes it a point. He's very, very extremely nice to me, and it just works out nice.
Have you made a personalized belt for Arnold? What would you put on it, or what did you put?
I made him all belts. I made him belts when he was presidential physical fitness. The main guy there. He had one there. I made it when he was a Hard Rock. I made a Hard Rock one. I made his supplement line one, just to Arnold with all his dates on it that he won the Olympia. I made him a lot of belts. Did
you do a Governator one?
No, I didn't do that. No, that's a good idea. No, I didn't do that.
You should make him one. I think that's the belt you should make him next, because I think
I got to make him a new one. I guess his favorite color, and just realizing now, is purple, so I got to do something purple.
There you go. Well, Steve, thanks for taking time to talk to us. We could probably talk all night with all the stories from back in the day, but we'll have to get you back on to tell some great stories.
I want to do a belt. I want to do a couple belts for you. Something like, maybe RxMuscle. Maybe you can do a contest. I want to do something like I did for this company. This is a small company, but hard worker.
Hold it up a little higher, Steve. There you go.
This is a new company, Meathead Nation. But they talk about the hard work. I want to do something like that for you, so you can give to one of your winners. You can do the contest however you want. I also want to make some species belts for you because I love the lime green.
Thank you. I'd love you to do something crazy with the species. We'll send you over the logos because if anyone's going to do it, I want you to do it because I'm sure it'll be amazing. I'll hang it up right in my office. I'm sure all my athletes.
I think you give some away. Give some to your listeners. I mean, you have a great following. And I want to thank you for having me on the show. Your products are great. They sell well at the store. And anything you need from me, you have it. And I appreciate having me on the show. I hope it went well.
And Steve, I appreciate your loyalty as well over the years. And once again, hopefully we'll have a lot more time together promoting whatever we're promoting down the road. I know we talked about maybe having a Bros vs. Pros out by you in Massachusetts because you got some hardcore lifters out there. That might be something we want to investigate later in the year.
Absolutely. I love that show.
Maybe we can get the fitness freak to participate a little bit in it.
Anything you want. Don't challenge the strength either because he's strong too.
I know. You told me he could do anything. That's why I thought he'd be a great addition to that Bros vs. Pros.
He did yesterday, Wednesday, 405 for 10, drop set to 315, 2 1/4 to 135, 40 reps in a row.
Oh my God, that's sick. That probably would break the Bros vs. Pros record, I'm sure.
You put him up against Anthony, he'll die on the floor if he doesn't do it. He'll make good footage.
Well, once again, thanks, Steve Cardillo. If you want to check him out, he'll be running around the Arnold Classic all weekend long, and maybe you could participate in his scavenger hunt. Just don't kill anyone when you're trying to go get those little keychain belts. For now, though, we are out of time again here at RxMuscle's live with our RxMuscle Road to the Arnold Classic. For now, we're going to say goodbye, and we'll see you Friday with Susan Smith.
Thanks again.